And we also want to share, there you go. And when we also want to share our disclaimer. This session is intended to be informational and educational and does not constitute legal, medical, or financial advice. Consult your legal, healthcare, or financial advisor for advice regarding your personal situation. AARP is not responsible for the consequences of any decisions or actions taken in reliance upon or as a result of the information provided during this event. Now, so that's a pretty standard disclaimer and probably doesn't apply to this, but hey, we got to make sure that we're covered. Now, today we are joined by AARP volunteer and Mahjong instructor Jeanne Wun. Jeannie is a longtime volunteer with AARP California. She has a rich and accomplished background in community service and education. She is a founding board member of the Chinese American Coalition for Compassionate Care and achieved a 20-year association with the Hospice of the Valley of San Jose that included her role as the community relations manager. Jeannie, a certified yoga instructor, is now exploring personal interests that inspire the health and wellness of mind, body, and spirit. Jeannie played Mahjong during the holidays throughout her childhood. She played Mahjong on and off through college and adulthood and taught her roommates and coworkers how to play for fun. The youngest person she taught to play was a 7-year-old. One of Jeannie's favorite memories of playing Mahjong is playing a Mahjong marathon with her mom. And about 8 years ago, Jeannie hosted a weekly Mahjong activity at UI Kai's Akiyama Wellness Center in San Jose. Today, the group is still active and is hosted by a player that she taught how to play. In celebration of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, AARP is glad to celebrate the game of Mahjong, a game of Chinese origin that provides crucial cultural, social, and intergenerational links within Asian communities and beyond. Jeannie, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Vincent, and welcome everyone to Mahjong 101. Let's begin with brief history. So next slide, please. Let's begin with the brief history of the game, and then we'll go into how to play. And just imagine you'll impress your friends and family with some Mahjong trivia and something like, did you know that Mahjong was created by an imperial servant of the Qing dynasty over 125 years ago in China? Well, it was. Um, it began as an aristocratic game and eventually spread and evolved in regional variations of play. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, it became popular in Shanghai and Guangzhou. In 1949, the Communist Party banned playing Mahjong for the gambling aspect of the game. 60 years ago, during the China's Cultural Revolution, Mahjong was banned from being played. It wasn't until after Mao's death in 1976 and in 1985, the ban was lifted and the resurgence of the game took hold. And today, it's enormously popular throughout China as a social game. Today, in the United States, there's been a major cultural and social revival of the game, drawing in new players from all ages and backgrounds, preserving Mahjong's centuries-old Chinese roots. So from baby boomers to Gen X, millennials to Gen Zs, they all have social groups that routinely play, and they often play intergenerational. The word mahjong or mahjong in Cantonese means sparrow. The mere shuffling and the clicking sound of the tiles is said to be similar to the chirping of sparrows. Friends and family gather to play using the game as a bonding of family and enjoying each other's company. Different regional rules and styles of play lead to Mahjong's widespread appeal and adaptability globally. Next. In the early 1920s, Joseph Babcock, an American living in Shanghai, saw the game's potential. So he adapted the rules and made it accessible to the Western audience, publishing Mahjong. The game caught on. In 1930s, Dorothy Meyerson set the foundation for the American Mahjong. And Viola Cecile came along in 1937 and established what is known as the National Mahjong League to standardize the rules. Today, they use racks and game playing cards and much more. Mahjong clubs and societies were formed. Playing Mahjong became a trendy pastime. And today, it's a means for service league groups to and nonprofits to use playing Mahjong to fundraise. For some of you today, the challenge will be finding a local place or a group to play in person, and I'll address that in a later slide. Mahjong extended to Europe and other countries, again spreading and developing other versions and style of play, adding to Mahjong's rich and diverse heritage. Next. Well, we're already there. Today, um, there are over 40 variations of play, but the fundamentals remain the same. The more common forms of Mahjong are the Cantonese and Hong Kong style of play. That's what I'm focusing on today is the Cantonese and the Hong Kong style of play, where they use 144 tiles. The Taiwanese play also use 144 tiles, but have different rules. Japanese Richi uses 136 tiles. They don't use the flowers and seasons in their play. Now there's American Mahjong, which is very popular in the States, use 150 tiles, uh, but they include what they call jokers or wild tile cards. And the benefit of why to play Mahjong, it offers social and psychological benefits, improves cognitive functions, enhances your strategic thinking, and it's an opportunity to socialize. It also fosters connections and it forms of stress relief, promotes relaxation, sharpens mental acuity, and offers individuals a positive well-being. Now, next. See, I told you we get to how to play Mahjong. All right, once again, I'm focusing on Cantonese and Hong Kong style of play. If you're here and you've played Mahjong, an American version or another version, this is going to be a little not as familiar. But if you played a Hong Kong and Cantonese style, it's a great refresher course. So let's begin. Next, please. So let's start with the basics of the game and terminology. Some of this may not make sense to you, but later slides, it'll come and pull together. There will be a handout, I believe, posted in the chat for you to download and reference to. But and one of the slides handout will be this. So the basic game and terminology. And you'll learn it as you go, pretty much. So basically, you have four players that will play. You can play with three, and you can play with two. I've been known to play by myself. So the dealer rolls the dice. You count the walls counterclockwise. The live wall is where you draw the tiles to play. You go clockwise. There is what they call a dead wall, a flower wall, and also called a bonus wall. These are where you redeem for another extra tile, and these are drawn counterclockwise. Now, the direction of play is counterclockwise. And again, when you see the flow of play and when you're actually in play, it'll make a lot more sense. What you're trying to do is create a pongs, and that means three of a kind, or kongs, which are four of a kind. And you can make a pong and a kong by someone's discard, or you can self-draw to make a pong or a kong. A hidden kong is where you have four of a kind and you place those tiles face down, and the other players don't know what those cards are or tiles are, and you reach and get a bonus tile to redeem and put into your hand. Now, if you had a pung already in your hand, you can also make it a kong, convert it into a kong through a self draw. Now, if somebody tosses it out and you already have the three down, you're not able to claim that. You only can claim a pong, or excuse me, a kong with your own three of a kind hand. Chows are sequences that you create for your hand. And you can claim um, a chow only by the player to your left. If somebody across from you or to the right of you discards a tile that you need to make a sequence, a run like 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, or 5, 6, 7, you only are able to pick up that tile from the person that discards it from on your left, unless it's to win. You can grab it from anybody. Okay, a pair is also two of a kind, and it's this same suit, or it's a dragon tile or a wind tile. Priority of discards is the winning tile can be either you're looking for a pair or a pong, which is three of a kind, and a kong, which is four of a kind, and a chow is a sequence, a tile. If there are multiple people, players wanting the tile for their hand, the player who needs it for the win gets the tile first, followed by, if it's not to win, the next person in line to receive that tile would be a person who wants it for a pong, which is three of a kind, or a kong, which is four of a kind, and then a chow, which is a sequenced hand. Position change. This is when the East player loses the dealer position, and then the dealer position moves to the right of the dealer. And so they'll start off the game. And the position of everybody all at the table switches from that. And they have this little handy little dial or emblem showing the four winds and set the dial to east. And you just pass this around so nobody has to get up and shift chairs every time the direction of play changes. Next. Oh, before I go on, I wanted to share on basic etiquette and house rules of games wherever you're playing. Sometimes they have house rules that you need to be aware of. For instance, I've been in places where uh, reaching your hand into the discard pile to grab the tile you want is probably considered poor etiquette. What they prefer is that you show how you want to use that tile by flipping the tiles down on your side of the table to show where you want to use that tile and then reach for it rather than reaching it and grabbing it and putting it in your tile. You flip your tiles by your side and then reach for the tile. Sometimes some of the players will grab it and give it to you, but that would be like a house etiquette. There's also a house etiquette of the 3-second rule, where a discarded tile, you have 3 seconds to respond, whether you need it as a pung or a kong or even a chow for the player from your left discarding it, because the next player is eager to reach for their tile to play their hand. So there's basically a 3-second rule that's that's unwritten, if you will, that people try to honor that. Next. All right. So actually, let's go back to the other slide with the 140 there. Thank you. The Let's take a look at all 144 tiles. This is what they look like. They come in a set like this, and they have dice that come in with they usually have three. I play with two. It doesn't matter. The tiles come in for the first one are called characters. There's 36 of them. They're numbered 1 through 9, the Arabic number 1 through 9. For the non-Chinese reader, you're able to now put these in sequence and in order when you receive them. So these are called character suits. And then to the right of that are bamboos, shoots. Bamboos are from 1 to 9 numbered as well. But you notice that the number one is actually, it looks like a bird sitting on a one bamboo. It's actually a sparrow in this case, in this Mahjong set. So the one bamboo here goes with this bamboo, and it's a bird. Not to be confused with the bottom tile below, you can see the flowers. In the heat of the play, sometimes players will confuse the bird as a flower. Trust me, your other fellow players will call you on it and say, no, that's a bamboo, not a flower. And the flowers are used differently and obviously than the bamboo. The bamboo one obviously stays with the bamboo. Then we go into the dots as the other suits, again numbered 1 through 9. And and there's on the suits of the characters, bamboos, and dots, there are a set of 4 of them. Okay, as you can see. So just for fun, the characters are symbolic of wealth and abundance. The bamboos represent and symbolize strings of coins actually for this, and it's symbolizes growth, strength, flexibility, and resilience. The dots represent copper, Chinese copper coins. Here they represent and symbolizes wealth, prosperity, and good fortune. Now, in the right-hand column, right corner, uh, shows the honor tiles where the winds and dragons are, and bonus tiles, the flowers and seasons. And the flowers are 4 seasons, and then there are 4 flowers. And they're numbered. If you can see the number on the left of the blue flowers, those are seasons, and the numbers on the right are red, those are flower. In the middle section are the winds. The See the east, south, west, and north. And then to the right of that are your dragons. And then again, 4 sets of red dragons, green dragons, and then the last column are called white dragons. In Chinese, the red dragon is Hongjong, meaning red center, and the middle one, the green one, green dragon, is Fat, meaning luck. So now you know if you've been playing Mahjong what those characters mean. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, let's take a closer look now. Once again, there are 3 suits. Characters, there's 36 total tiles, numbered 1 through 9. Bamboo, same thing, numbered 1 through 9. And the dots, numbered 1 through 9. And the bottom row, we have our dragons, red dragon, green dragon, white dragon, and then you have the winds and the compass directions. Again, total of 16 tiles there. And then the flowers, where you have 4 seasons and 4 flowers. Okay, we may come back to this screen later, but let's go to the next one. The object of the game is to create sets and sequences in your hand and get mahjong. So when you have a mahjong hand, you need to mahjong out with a pair. This is what it looks like. So a pair, sometimes called the eyes. This example shows you 2 dragons. A chow in your hand, where you have 3 in a sequence. Here it is in the characters, 6, 7, 8 in a series. Then Pong is a 3 of a kind. And illustrated here are the 6 bamboos. And a Kong hand is 4 of a kind. So now if you go look at the Mahjong hand here, it's now broken down in segments here where there's a pair of eyes, the dragons. The Chow characters is a complete sequence, 3, 4, and 5. The Chow and dots are 6, 7, 8. The Pong in bamboos are 3 of a kind of 3 bamboos. And the Chow bamboos ends with the sequence here of 5, 6, and 7. Now here's an example in the middle here, face up pung. This is when you already have placed down on your side, you already punged, that you have three of a kind showing. You draw a tile, it's your turn, you draw a tile, and you create four of a kind. This is how you show it on when you lay down your tiles to the left of you. You have your three uh, pongs already laying down. You place the tile like this, placing it face down. This way, when when people are scoring and counting points, this is how they'll at a glance know that you got that Kong by a self draw. And then the hidden Pong in your hand, this is where it's not been shown, it's in your hand. It's upright in your hand, and you have three of a kind in your hand. You're waiting for the fourth. You happen to draw it. You can, in the Hong Kong Cantonese style of game, you can have a hidden Pong hand. There are some rules, house rules, won't allow hidden Kongs. This is a strategic move where you now place these four tiles face down. Nobody knows what they are, and then you reach for at the bonus wall, the dead wall, the flower wall to redeem your tile, and you either put it into your hand or if you don't need it, you discard it. So that's the illustration there. And we'll answer your questions at the Q&A. So thank you for your questions. Next. All right, here's an overview of the game. I can already hear the tiles shuffling on the first frame. So the tiles are all face down. Four players are shuffling and moving all the tiles, mixing up. It's like, shuffling your deck of cards. Here you're physically moving the tiles. And all four players are now going to stack walls. They create two rows of 18 tiles stacked. So one row of 18, then you stack the second row of 18 on top. So there's four walls. Then the players in turn will take the dice and roll it and see who rolls the high dice roll, and that deems who the dealer will be to start the game. So the high dealer is now positioned in the third frame here at the bottom of the east where it says dealer. The dealer now and the players are seated. East is the dealer, to the right is south, north is there's a west player, and left is the north player. So that's the seating arrangement. And so the dealer rolls a 9 to start the game. So the dealer is always position 1. And as you see in my number rotation around going counterclockwise, dealer is number 1, and then south is 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you go all the way around, 9 lands on the dealer's wall, and it's the east wall. And the lower left corner shows you what we do, how to break the wall. From the right hand of the dealer, you count in from 1 to 9 to the left. Again, right hand, count in 9 tiles going towards the left. You break the tile at 9 because that's what was rolled. And so the dealer will take the first set of 4 tiles, and each player will go around clockwise grabbing 4 tiles until they have a total of 12 tiles. So they'll go 3 times and have it. And so the next image shows you where they have their piles of 12 tiles in front of them. Now the dealer will have 14 tiles, and for them to pick up their 13th and 14th tile is demonstrated in the next shot here. So the dealer will pick up tile 13, jump the middle one, and pick up the 14th tile, where you see where the jump tile is, and the bottom image shows where the down arrow is. They jump that tile. And the south player will pick the first tile that exposed. West player will pick the tile that's got the arrow on it pointing down. And the north player will pick up the one that's just below it to complete their 13th tile. So once again, everybody else has 13 tiles and the dealer has 14 because the dealer will discard first. The last image shows you how the tiles are set up upright all the way around, and you see in the dealer has flowers facing up, and the south player has flowers seating up, and the dice are set to the right of the dealer. And what'll happen is directly in front of the dealer, you see the tiles in front of him where we broke the tiles from 1 to 9. That's called the flower or dead wall. If you look at the far left image, that's what it's titled, Dead Wall, Flower Wall. The dealer will pick up 2 tiles to redeem the 2 flowers that they placed to the left and put it into to their hand. Same thing, then the south player will do the same thing to redeem their flower tile. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so let's take a closer look on breaking the wall. In this case here, the dealer is on the left side of the screen, south is on the bottom, west is to the right, north is to the top here. And the dealer rolls an 11. So from the east dealer, the dealer will now count counterclockwise. And as you see my numbering system, dealer's number 1, and then you count all the way around, and the 11 wall lands on the west wall. So by breaking the wall, again, the west wall, the right-hand side, you count in 11 tiles. You break at 11 and 12 on the tiles, grabbing 4 at a time. The dealer takes the first 4 and then followed by the south, west, and north grabbing their tiles. Okay? Next. This is an active game that is demonstrated here. So looking where the dealer is to the left and the player south, the west, and the north player. You see the discarded tiles in the center of the table. You see some of the hands that are down on the left. The right one is already showing a Mahjong hand. What happened here with the south player discarded number 2 bamboo, excuse me, the bamboo, number 2 bamboo. And on the right, it'll show you how the West player showed how they're going to use it. They flipped all their tiles down, showing the rest of their hand how the number 2 bamboo is shown. So 2, 3, 4 was the chow that was created. They have 2 dots, which is a pair of eyes that you need. They have a dots for chows, which are 5, 6, and 7, and another set of chows that are dots of 7, 8, and 9. So the complete hand with this player shows the Mahjong hand, and what has already been shown is the flowers and and a 3 of a kind, a win 3 of a kind. For fun, for scoring purposes here, this hand is worth 2 points because number 1, they have their own flower. They're in position number 3 because east is position 1, south is position 2, west is position 3. So 1 point for their flower, and the win hand is another point. So that was a 2-point, 2 fawn Mahjong hand. I will not be going through how to score points, but I just wanted to demonstrate to you how a hand can be broken down to score points, and that's a whole whole different session. All right, next. Essentially, what you're trying to do is create clarity from chaos with the hands that you've been dealt. First row shows an example of 14 tiles that a dealer has pulled. For simplicity, I used the same tiles to show what the other 13 players would have. They would have an assorted 13 tiles in front of them. Oh, excuse me. And they're all mixed up, upside down, and out of order. The next thing players do is put them in sort of rearrangement order so they can see what they have. So in this case, on the left side, we start with the honor tiles, the dragon tile, the wind, then broken down to the bamboos, excuse me, in sequence order, and then the characters in sequence order, and then dots in sequence order. You notice there is a flower in the hand, so the flower is placed down, face up, and the dealer goes first to draw flowers before anyone else, and then everybody else goes in turn. Excuse me. And so this person redeemed their flower, and excuse me, I'm going to have to get some water here. I'm getting all choked up over Mahjong. So the bonus tile that was drawn was a red dragon. So the red dragon is placed next to the green dragon. So there the tiles are all placed in some sort of order. So you go to the next slide. So from chaos and through the course of play, you come to clarity and you have a hand in Mahjong. So from the first row of tiles, as you saw, they were all mixed up. Then second row, the tiles are rearranged, flowers redeemed, and you see the tiles are rearranged upright. And then during the course of play, you pung, you chow, you kong, and then you create your mahjong hand. And here is an example of the mahjong hand where there's your pair of eyes, or they're green dragons, your chow hand using the characters 3, 4, 5, a chow hand with sequence of dots 6, 7, 8, and then the three bamboos, the three of a kind, and the chow of bamboos of 5, 6, and 7. Next. Now, how to learn how to play Mahjong. The best way to play is to engage and play in real time. And Mahjong is similar, as they say, to playing Jim Rummy or excuse me, Rummy. And instead of discarding your cards, you're trying to create a hand and sequence and sets to Mahjong and discard tiles that you don't need. Mahjong is a social game, an activity that improves cognitive function, enhances strategic thinking, fosters community and connectedness, also promotes relaxation, sharpens your mental acuity, and also positive well-being. Players uh, take turns drawing and discarding and creating chows, kongs, pongs, and pairs, and eventually completing a 14-tile mahjong. Next. Here's some playing tips that how I actually teach Mahjong. I encourage people when we set up a game, four people playing, is to play the hand open where the tiles are facing up. So everybody's tiles are faced up. Doesn't matter. We're only playing for fun and we're trying to learn. So the tiles are facing up, and then this is how you become familiar with the pace, the flow of how the tiles are drawn and how the tiles are discarded. And then when a player draws a flower, you show it, then you draw from, get a new tile from the dead wall or the flower wall, and then the player has to discard a tile from their hand. This creates uh, an atmosphere where you can create your sets and sequences of chows, pongs, kongs, and discarding tiles and learning how to maybe you self-draw a tile. You can only, again, remember that you only can chow on discards from a player on your left, but you can pong and kong, three of a kind or four of a kind tile from anybody at the table. You can claim a discarded tile for four of a kind, and then you're able to draw from the dead wall or the flower wall another tile. You'll either discard it or keep it and put it in your hand, but you do need to discard a tile. While you play, you should be observing all the players' tile discards. Watch how the players use and show their discarded tile in a chow, pong, and kong, so you'll know what's been used. And so, based on what's been discarded and used, you may need to change your tile strategy. The tile you're waiting for may be in one of the player's hands, or maybe in the dead wall, or in a discard pile. So, to win, you can claim a discarded tile from any player. You call out Mahjong, then show how the discard tile will be used to confirm that you really truly have a Mahjong. And you can also self-draw a tile to win. Next, find a local Mahjong community. You Google, do a Google search. Search for a Cantonese Hong Kong Mahjong group. There are a number of, where I live in Santa Clara County, there are a number of meetup Mahjong groups. And because of where I live in Santa Clara County, there are a number of population of Chinese Asian population here. And so there are community centers that offer Chinese games either once a week, depending on the frequency and so on. And you might check in with them to see if they have a Mahjong game going and how often, and ask if it's typically, I think, at least in that I've seen so far in the Chinese community, they're obviously playing the Chinese version, not the American version, and so forth, because they're not equipped to, they'd have to buy monthly the new playing cards in American Mahjong. So next. Now we're ready for questions. How are we doing?
All
Well,
right. Thank you
actually,
so much, Jeannie. And we'll answer some questions from the chat. Joyce, what questions are you seeing in the chat?
so first of all, you are doing a great job in explaining Mahjong. I have never seen this version before, and a lot of our Zoomers haven't either. So thank you again for your presentation. I'm
Sure,
going to
sure.
start at the very top. So, and I know you probably answered this question once before, but can you please answer it again? It says, "What do the green tiles mean? A face down tile." They're still a little
Okay,
uncertain.
so let's pop up slide number 8. Maybe it's not 8, it's the 144 tiles. Let's see what that the handout. Let's go to the okay here, so we can look at it from here. Thank you, Rachel. So
Thank you.
they're asking for the green dragon. So the green dragon is in Cantonese. The pronunciation is fat. It means luck. And
Jeannie, I think they were actually asking the
Yep.
question when you had the concealed Pong.
Right.
So it
And
was
it's
the backs
Go
of the
ahead.
tiles.
oh, to have that concealed, it has no, it does it's nobody's
Yeah, I
going to
think it
look
was
behind.
like a couple slides later than this.
Okay, slide. So go ahead and go upwards. Keep going all the way to the
That
here,
one,
this one.
Yeah,
the
those.
hidden
Yeah,
Pong.
yeah,
Yeah.
those right there. Yes.
Okay, so what's the question again?
What do the green tiles mean? A tile face down tile.
Oh, so this is when you have essentially th a three of a kind in your hand. It doesn't matter which three of a kind you have in your hand, and you pick the fourth one. You actually have all four tiles in your hand. It can either be a character, mostly more importantly, it's a character bamboo or a dot. If you have four of the dragons and the winds, and it's not nobody's going to be looking for them. So the strategy of having a hidden pong is really for your character, your suits, where you have the characters and the dots and the bamboos. So the hidden Pong is when you have four of a kind. If you go to the slide 144, I mean the showing the 144. So here, so if you have four of the characters, like number three, you have, if somebody's trying to create a sequence of three, four, and five, and you have hidden all the threes, they don't know that. They're sitting there waiting for the three to show up. They're going to have to change their style. So they'll have to look for it. They're not going to find a three. They may be lucky to get a six. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So that's what a hidden hand is. And in this play is in Vincent will probably let me know in the American Mahjong whether they allow for a hidden Mahjong hand. In Cantonese and Hong Kong style, you're allowed to hide tiles for and not let other players know which ones you have. And by the end of the game, you'll find out, or you may not find out, what they had for Kong. And usually, most players will flip everything and say, "What did you have? Where did you have? Oh, I was looking for those." And again, that's why it's a fun and a social kind of game. So, but on the far right, bottom Kong, if you have you cannot create a sequence with just east, south, west, and north. That's not a hand. Having all east, all south, or all west, and all north is a hand. That would be a Kong hand for you. But hiding those from someone makes no sense because you don't need it anywhere else. Does that make sense? The same thing with the red dragon, the green dragon, and the white dragon. Hiding those, you can automatically show those and say you have a Kong. You flip them up, show them all. You can still do a hidden for them if you want, but as I said, there's no value. Nobody's looking for those. People are looking for the tiles that have, if they're able to do a sequence. So if you have Konged all the dots of number seven, the player who has five, six, and they're looking for seven, they're out of luck. They're going to have to look for fours to fill out that
Okay.
side. I hope that answered
Okay.
the question.
That makes sense. Thank you so much for answering that question. Now here's another curious one. So why are three bamboos called a Kong when three dots are called a Chow?
No, no.
Oh,
Three dots, okay, let's see, show. Three dots are, if you have sequence of three dots, it would be a pung. But if you have a sequence, sequencers are called chows. When you have consecutive runs like two, three, four, they're all chows.
ah,
Three of a
okay.
kind are pungs. Kongs are four of a kind.
Okay, so we were a little off on that question, but I'm glad you explained that. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that one. So the other question is, I know you've answered this one before, but maybe you can help us out one more time. How do you play by yourself for practice, just to get
How I
started?
said, oh, this is very easy. I mean, I shuffle, I make four sides again, and I walk around the table. I mean, I actually, a friend of mine, we were playing Mahjong. He might be on this webinar this today, and we set it up. And I said we did what I practiced what I preach. We did it all the tiles face up. I played mine face up. He played his face up. I showed him how to play. And then I said, okay, now let's flip them all up and we're not going to show anybody any hands, but I'm going to play two hands. So I ran behind him and played another set, and one side was left unplayed. So anyway, he wound up winning. So his first Mahjong playing with the tiles upright. But I mean, and for me, I just pretend, I mean, I trying to remember each other's hands. I just play to play. And in fact, when I created the PowerPoint presentation, I actually played to create the illusion of playing by myself, and that's how I took pictures and captured it. And anyway, that's my method.
That's your method. So now here's the other question. So is a Kong four of a kind in a sequence? Is that what a Kong means?
A Kong is four of a kind.
Okay.
And you can keep them in your hand if you want to, or Kong out, meaning you place the Kong down. If you pulled it, if you at a self draw, you can hide those Kongs and not show anybody what it is. You place them face down, and then you grab a tile from the bonus flower dead wall to redeem that tile. There you go. Thank you. And um, so that's you three of a kind of any suit. So you can have a three of kind in your character, your dots, and your bamboos. And Kongs are the same thing as are four of a kind.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Now, this is a question that's kind of interesting. It says, "How do you know if you have Mahjong after all of that? How do you know if
Okay.
you have
Again,
it?"
look at your hand, and here's an example right here in front of you. You have to have two pairs of something. Two pairs of something, a pair of eyes. So in this example, it happens to be two green dragons. Then you have a chow, which is, and it doesn't have to be chow, they can be all pongs here. But this happens to be a chow, a sequence. Your tiles have been sequenced or you've made a set. This is a set, a chow. It's 3, 4, 5. It happens to be characters. Here, this hand happens to be dots and of chows. So that's 6, 7, 8. This one is a Pung hand, three of a kind. That is complete set. That is a set. Then your hand here is 5, 6, 7, finishing out your six. So your this is a complete set. That's the breakdown of, and it doesn't have to be all chows. It doesn't have to be pongs. You could have when you get real sophisticated in playing, and if you can have all your cards be all characters, where you have 3, 4, 5, all the characters like 6, 7, 8. If you have all chows and then you have a pair that are chow, that's a huge winning hand. My mom was able to do a whole hand of having the character tiles. So,
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And my last question is, I'm interested in getting started. Is there a particular beginner set that I need to start thinking about purchasing? Do I do the big set or do the little set? Because she mentioned there's so many different types of sets. What do I do to get started?
yeah, there you are. The best thing to do is number one, uh, get a set that has the Arabic numbers so you can learn Chinese by having the tiles numbered in the characters where you can see. If you go to tile 144, that shows 144 tiles, Rachel. Whoops, there you go. These tiles have the numerals, the Arabic numbers on it, and obviously the letters on the east, so you know what direction of the winds are, and to show you what they are.
Okay.
And the tiles are, again, for traditional Chinese Mahjong, it's 144 tiles. As it mentioned earlier, the American and have different number of tiles. But if you can on purchasing them on, you can probably pick them up on Amazon.
Okay.
Um, the there are people that play, not even with physical touching of the tiles, play Mahjong online. I'm not familiar with playing Mahjong online, and I don't have any recommendations on online apps to use. Maybe the panel of AARP representatives can share that in the link somewhere if you like. But these are the
No
physical
problem.
tiles. This game is to show you how to hopefully immerse yourself into a Hong Kong Chinese style playing of Mahjong. The American version, you have to invest in a lot more in tiles and paraphernalia, if you will. But the to starter kit size, there are size differences in Mahjong. So that's something to consider. Older adults seem to prefer using the larger tiles.
Okay.
I have this one. Let's see. This, let me see if I can get, here we go. This tile doesn't have the numerals on it. So just when you look for it,
Okay.
find tiles that have the numbers on it, and again, depends on your community and where you live and what your access to games you'll be able to play. But
Okay.
again, the standard 144 tiles play is for Cantonese Mahjong. There may be four blank ones that come with it, and then you come with dice, and then the marker of who the East player is comes with the set. But
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Think that answered the question. Thank you. It's so exciting. Now I really want to learn how to play the Mahjong now. So I'm going to go out and get me a set. Back to you, Vince.
All right. Thank you, Jeannie. And thanks, Joyce. All right, so it looked like we had a lot of people who are interested in learning American Mahjong, which is a quite a different game. I personally grew up learning the Chinese version, and I learned the American version in the last few years. It is a very different game. It does play with cards, and you have to buy a new card every year. So we may offer that as a Tea and Coffee Tuesday intro sometime in the future. And join us next month for Tea and Coffee Tuesday on Tuesday, June 12th. Our next program is called The Questions We Don't Ask But Should. So approaches to family story collection. Join anthropologist Dr. Elizabeth Keating as she shares her unique approach to uncovering and preserving family stories through a set of carefully developed essential questions. Inspired in part by personal loss and years of research, this method helps people capture memories, experiences, and ways of life that might otherwise be forgotten. Participants will learn how anthropological techniques can spark meaningful conversations across generations, deepen understanding of family history, and preserve personal narratives for the future. If you would like to view previous programs or learn more about the Tea and Coffee Tuesday monthly series, please check out the link in the chat. Again, thank you so much to Jeannie for today's excellent presentation. Thank you to our Tea and Coffee Tuesday volunteers, Sarita, Jacqueline, Haresh, Connie, Joyce, and the AARP staff. And of course, thank you all for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed today's presentation. I am your AARP volunteer host, Vince King, and this concludes today's program. Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.